Have you ever looked across the kitchen table at your child and realized that learning has become a daily battle? Maybe your mornings end in incomplete assignments, frustration, or just a heavy sigh of, do I have to? If we haven't met, I'm Sorgius Jones, founder of Not Consumed Ministries. We help families grow in faith so they can live not consumed by life. I used to think that because I was a former public school teacher, homeschooling my kids would be a breeze. I had the degrees, I had the methods, I thought I had it all figured out. But one year my daughter and I hit a massive wall. Every single day ended in a river of tears. She was completely overwhelmed by this giant, thick reading textbook that we were using. I felt like a total failure. I was doing everything right according to the traditional system, but that system was completely crushing her desire to learn. It was a daily battle just to get her to open the book. Then one day, I realized that the curriculum was the problem. So I did something crazy. I threw it out. We set aside that expensive, highly recommended reading program, and I let her pick out a mystery chapter book off the shelf instead. The results were better than I could have ever expected. The daily tears stopped. Her checklists were suddenly getting completed, not just in reading, but in all of her other subjects too. I watched a child who was completely unengaged turn into someone who actually couldn't wait to open the book. It made me realize that inspiring a love of learning is not about forcing the right curriculum or mimicking a classroom. It's about stepping back and really challenging how we've been taught to view education. So let me ask you, do you want your children to actually like school? Do you want them to graduate with a real love of learning? Today, I'm going to share 7 practical ways that you can inspire a genuine love of learning in your home. So let's dig in. Number 1, check the attitude. If we want our kids to love school, it starts with having the right attitude. What fun is life if we can't enjoy every part of it? God doesn't give us tasks just to endure them. He says to be joyful in Philippians 4:4 and thankful for all things in 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Not having that attitude about learning is actually a lack of trust. Trust that He has provided for us graciously. But we'll get to that in number 2. We need to be teaching our children the truth about learning because a bad attitude now breeds a bad attitude later. Have you ever met that guy who's just never ever happy with his job? As parents, we're doing our kids a massive disservice if we don't help them stay out of this rut early on. And yes, this includes your attitude, mom and dad. If you're visibly counting down the moments until school is over for the day, then you aren't showing your kids that it's a privilege to be educated. Nor are you modeling those verses we just talked about. We inspire a love of learning when we maintain a positive attitude ourselves. They're watching us. If we treat homeschool like a burden, they will too. Number 2, teach children why learning matters. Have you ever been assigned a task without knowing why it needed to be done? Of course you have. And it wasn't nearly as easy to complete as a task where you actually understood the purpose. Bear that in mind when it comes to school. Yes, we want our kids to be obedient. And yes, there will always be tasks in life that we have to do without fully understanding their purposes. But learning is actually not one of them. Let's look at Proverbs 24:3-6. It says, by wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding, it is established. By knowledge, the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. God has specifically charged us with the task of becoming wise through gaining knowledge. This is absolutely biblical knowledge, as God first wants us to know Him. But think about how this applies to our walk with God as a Christian family. We have 2 main purposes: to know and enjoy Him, and to share His love with others. How can we know God if we can't read His Word? How will we manage the blessings He gives us if we can't add or subtract? And how will we provide for our family if we don't have the skills that we need to earn a living? I tell my children that if we are to share God's love with others, we need to be articulate and intelligent. Our conversations will be far more compelling if we bring that to the table. We can't assume our kids have figured these simple concepts out. We have to explicitly teach them the why. It's a total game changer. I would even challenge you to sit down and write out a biblical reason for every subject taught in your home. We do this every year as part of our annual planning, and it has not only saved me from making some bad choices, it's also given us the motivation that we need to keep pushing through the tough subjects. Now, I have a full video about developing your why that I'm going to link in the description. Number 3, don't allow negative talk about school. Have you ever been in the grocery store and the cashier looks at your kids and says something like, "Aren't you glad school's almost over?" I bet you have. It happens all the time. I used to just let it slide. I'd stay quiet, smile politely, and try not to cause a scene in the checkout line. But one day God really convicted me over this. Would you let a cashier say, "Hey kid, you're not very smart and you're not going to amount to anything"? No, you wouldn't. So why do we let the culture put this other trash in the minds of our kids? It normalizes hating education. Now, please don't hear me say that we should start verbally abusing well-meaning cashiers or family members, by the way. But what if we came to the rescue of our kids in those moments? You could simply smile and say something like, actually, we love school in our house. Just leave it at that, Leaving kids in an awkward place isn't wise, but staying silent when someone is speaking negative things into their minds, I think can be incredibly harmful. Now, of course, this goes for talk at home too. In our home, we're not permitted to say that we hate a particular subject or school in general. It is perfectly okay to say that we struggle with a subject, or that math is hard right now, or that history is our favorite. We have feelings and we can validate those. But we must remember that what we rehearse out of our mouths is who we become. Negative talk will destroy every ounce of motivation. Number 4, never ever punish your children with school. This one is a matter of consistency. If we're sending the message that learning is joyful, that we are thankful for it, and that it's a wonderful privilege, we cannot get away with punishing our children with extra schoolwork. It's complete hypocrisy, and your kids will smell it a mile away. Not to mention, if you need a consequence for inappropriate behavior, it's far better to assign a logical consequence that fits the crime. If your child isn't completing their schoolwork well, that would be the only time I would consider using school as a consequence, because it makes sense that if you don't do your work correctly the first time, you have to do it over again. But if the issue is just bad behavior, assigning an extra math worksheet is not going to fix the problem. Instead, try finding something that fits the crime a little bit better. I have a full video about that too, and I will link it in the description. Number 5, find out how your kids learn best and accommodate for their struggles. Hopefully this one is a given, but I must admit that sometimes I forget to do this in the busyness of life. Take math, for example. Remember that reading curriculum struggle that I mentioned earlier? Well, that frustration actually crept into everything else, including math. I had to remind myself that in the public school, children who are not strong readers are given assistance with math word problems. They aren't penalized for not being able to read the problem, because a math test is about math and not reading skills. But I wasn't doing this in my own homeschool. Once I realized it, I switched my child who struggles with reading to a math program that reads the problems to her on the computer. And guess what? 4 weeks later, she had an A average. There were 0 tears, and she actually told me that she loved math. Math was just math again, and reading wasn't getting in the way anymore. Do some research on how your child learns best and accommodate those struggles. You'll be absolutely shocked at the difference it makes in their love for school. Number 6, allow kids to learn about things that interest them. One of the biggest blessings of homeschooling is being able to pursue the things that we love. Throwing out my daughter's reading textbook all of those years ago changed everything for her academically. That is because education is about learning how to learn. It doesn't matter if you study butterflies or the Civil War. The process of learning is what your kids need to master. They can use that process to learn just about anything else they need to know in life. Of course, you need to learn how to read, write, and do math, but who says we have to read about the things that bore us to tears? Who says your 12-year-old can't write his 5-paragraph essay about hot rods, if that's what gets him excited? Think outside of the box. Allowing my daughter to pick literally any book her heart desired was the saving grace for our school year. I also allowed my oldest to pursue her deep love for horses. She would happily dig into a complex science book about equines and write beautiful stories about them. How can you not call that brilliant education? Number 7, more is not better. Somewhere along the line, we bought into the lie that a stack of heavy textbooks and a jam-packed schedule equals a great education. We push our kids to do the best, to do more, and to check off every single box. But more isn't better. In fact, it actually just leads to burnout for both of you. When we focus on doing more, we often lose sight of the worldview behind the materials we're using. It does not matter if your child completes 50 science worksheets if those worksheets do not align with what you believe. What have you really gained? Learning should really be about experiences and connections. When we strip away the busy work and the pressure to do it all, we leave room for the things that actually matter. A conversation about a great book, a walk outside to look at the bugs, or just baking cookies and talking about fractions. Those shared experiences build a love for learning far faster than any worksheet ever could. Be intentional about building relationships and caring for the heart of your children. If you don't buy the lie that you have to do the giant stack of textbooks, you'll have time for what matters. Time to stop and talk about how God is the ultimate creator or how history backs up the Bible. Time to notice the little things or marvel at how intricately God weaves our stories together. This kind of discipleship is the sweetest part of homeschooling. So what do you think? Is there something working on this list that you haven't thought of before? How have you tried to inspire a love of learning in your kids? I would love to hear from you, so drop a comment down below. If you want to lay a solid foundation for a love of learning in your home, but you have absolutely no idea where to start, I have a free homeschool roadmap just for you. Look for it in the description. Now, if you're ready to plan your best homeschool year ever, I have a completely free homeschool planning bootcamp that will walk you through every step from figuring out your vision, your schedule, and your curriculum, and so much more. It'll be linked in the description as well. You don't need to have everything figured out to have an incredible homeschool year. You just need to take the next step. If this video encouraged you today, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future videos, and share with a homeschool friend who might need a little encouragement. Until next time, keep living not consumed. I'll see you soon.